Hey everyone, Tony Dragon here, and oh man, let's start this up because I have to catch up because I'm so late with a lot of reactions that I have content here that's already way over a week old, like a week and a half old, and that's bad. I'm sorry. Anyway, Captain America: Civil War, how it should have ended. I love Civil War, I really do, but I'll talk about that after, because I'm not going to keep you guys waiting any longer. So let's start the video in 3, 2, 1. Oh, volume. Yeah, the helicopter scene. And of course, it's got to show them off. Too sexy. Nice. Yeah. As cool as that was, I have to admit, it really was just to show off those muscles.
I'm on it.
No need. I have successfully apprehended the suspect.
You're here.
Of course I am.
Yeah.
Wouldn't I be? Adventures are dangerous. You have unlimited power, no supervision.
You realize the Earth was under attack, right? That footage is us saving the day.
People die when you quote, save the day.
Didn't you guys fire a nuke at the city when the Chitauri showed up?
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that gonna do? Shower New York with hugs? Be serious.
We need to be put in check, guys.
We? Tony, you're the one who's reckless.
Cough! You made Ultron cough.
Yeah.
Everyone else in this room, just stop being evil.
The UN doesn't see it that way.
We'll tell the UN Vision picked up Thor's hammer. So we're pretty sure we've been doing the right thing up to this point.
I did lift the hammer.
Stop being evil.
That's what I'm saying.
What happens if we don't sign
Then
it?
consider yourselves retired.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Let me help you out. Here, just cross out the title. Make it say the Tony Accords. And we'll all sign right now.
Deal.
Hey!
Yeah, let's go with that.
You can do the things that I can, but you don't. And then the bad things happen. They happen because of you.
No, that's not it.
It's not
That's not the line. Come on, say it right.
what line.
You know.
Say it.
With great power comes great responsibility.
There
Oh, it feels so good.
They're not stopping.
it is. All right then, whip 'em up.
Yeah, the webs.
Great job, kid. Get to the quick end, the hangar, bud. We're almost there.
Aha! I'm Giant Man! Something just flew in me!
Yeah, you should have brought the jet.
Come on, man.
Oh, here we go.
Give me vitals.
Oh, he's dead.
Don Cheeto, no! Oh shit, they killed him. Okay.
Don't bullcrap me, Rogers. Did you know? Yes. Tank missile.
I'm sorry, Tony. I know what I did. I know I hurt you. But I want you to know. I'm sorry.
You don't get to be sorry.
You're right. I don't deserve to live.
Bucky, that's not true. What you did wasn't you.
I can speak for myself, Steve. Gah. I did those things. And I accept responsibility. But I am sorry.
Get him out of there. Let's go.
No! You were supposed to collapse from the inside! I was lucky enough that Stocky showed up at the same time as you to watch this video! And now you're totally foiling my plans! Come on!
Or
Yeah. Final warning. We could do this all day.
okay, how it really should have been. Yeah, what?
I'm sorry. Were you saying something?
Yeah.
And so, Cod Zemo found out he was the real person who bombed the UN, and we never went to Siberia.
What was in Siberia?
Oh, who knows?
Yep. Who knows?
Well, that sounds kind
No
of
big deal.
anticlimactic. I was kind of hoping you guys would fight each other or something. You know, the whole Choose a side, Trent.
Oh, we're still split. Tony's still assembling his team. Oh, we've already assembled. Team Iron Man's where it's at, baby. Any of you jokers want to join? We've even got our own Batman and Superman.
I believe I would prefer to be on Team Captain America.
What? I thought you were all about the Accords. Nobody is about the Accords, Tony. Not even you.
Yeah, you'll sneak behind their back. Second you need something without their consent.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we've got Spider-Man.
Mr. Stark, I'm really excited to be here, but I gotta ask you a question. Are you gonna date my aunt? Because I don't know if I'm ready for you to be my dad, uncle.
Now.
That's-
I get ahead of myself.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Is he even old enough to vote? He's old enough to steal that mighty shield, and you know what that means. So...
Unless you're a plane
Or a bomb.
or some ice.
Or brainwashed buddy.
Or Spider-Man.
Then you don't necessarily have to yield. Please stop for the love of God! Huh, never would have guessed. Cap hates music. What are you, Hydra or something? No. Why would you think that?
Oh my god.
Well, BP, if you're not with us, then I believe your seat is over there.
This seems very childish.
Yep.
Move, or you will be moved.
Not a chance, Catman. Do you know why?
Why?
Because I'm Batman.
Oh my gosh, you can have my seat. It's getting too crowded anyway.
Oh, thank God.
Oh yeah, I knew.
It's never gonna move.
How long have you been there?
I have seen things.
Okay. There's probably something more at the end. Yeah, there's something after the... This is a really good one.
Yes, I am Zemo. You're probably wondering why I brought you here. This is not to
Oh, he's
fight,
practicing the
but
speech.
to kiss.
Okay. I won't talk about the whole film because there's a lot I can say about it because I really did love that movie. It was really a step up, for the Marvel Cinematic Universe because I'll admit it has started to become a little stale in certain areas. It's still stale in the sense that no one really dies in at least the cinematic universe. I'm not going to bring up the comics because, every comic does that. That's just part of the comic genre at this point. But in terms of movies, Marvel had a great chance to kill at least one character. I love Don Cheadle, I really do. And War Machine is a great character, but if they really want to, step up in terms of, the cost of being a superhero in this world, I feel like at least one person needed to die. And Don Cheadle, War Machine, really was the perfect opportunity, but they kind of threw it away. Now, it's true, some would say the argument that as soon as you kill a character, you can no longer use them, because if you bring them back, it cheapens the whole idea of death. And, and then there are people who would say things like, I wanted to create more stories with this character, but because he's dead, the only other option I have is to bring him back from the dead, and that would just kind of ruin the tone of the film. And that's true. I say that, however, that sacrifices need to be made. Yeah, you would miss on opportunities to create stories with that specific character, but you would have a chance to really delve into great stories with all the other characters and dealing with the death of a fellow superhero. But I can understand why they're refraining from killing people. Some people say there's too many jokes. I say there's actually a good fair amount of it. It's a good fair balance. I mean, they're fighting for their lives. I mean, I'm not gonna blame them for making a joke here and there, just to liven it up. It's like I myself, if I was in their shoes, I wouldn't want to live in a world where, every corner, I could die or be betrayed or some stuff like that, and not really want to, live life in a more, every time if I had a chance, I would want to crack a joke every now and then just to alleviate the tension. That's one of the things I love about Spider-Man. Yeah, he makes a lot of jokes, but that's because he's afraid of getting killed. He's out there fighting supervillains. He could die at any moment, and he doesn't really want that, to show, when he's fighting his enemies. He doesn't want his enemies to know, like, he's afraid. He wants to kind of throw them off their game instead of him being thrown off his game. And he's fighting for his life, and he's worried, he's scared. And yeah, any superhero, no matter how great they're, portrayed in comic book, movies, show, they're going into a situation where they could come out dead. So I'm not going to blame them for every now and then if they can take advantage of a moment to breathe and, get a sigh of relief, But let me see. The first scene with the helicopter, yeah, he really was just showing off, his muscles. Vision. Here we go. Vision. They stated in an interview that they didn't bring Vision along because he's Superman. He's so overpowered that they really wouldn't know what situation to put him in that he couldn't just get out of or solve in a matter of minutes, seconds maybe even. So yeah, it makes sense that they left him at home. Now again, story-wise, it doesn't make sense why the Avengers told him to stay here while they go off on this mission. But I guess if you really want to get so really out there, stretch it out, you can just say that he would stand out, like the enemy would see him, Some people say he was shapeshift, but we haven't seen any indication that he can, change the color of his skin or the look, just his face in general. And we saw him grow clothes, but we don't know if that's how extensive that ability is. But yeah, writing wise, he's like Superman. You would have to bring in a big time villain that can actually go on par with Vision, and it's not time for that yet. We need to focus on Civil War, which would delve into multiple characters, and with Vision, he would just constantly just block that advance. Perhaps a better writer could have found a way, but for what we got, it makes sense, and I'm okay with it. But yeah, him, beating Crossbones, blowing up the jet when, instead in the movie, he actually just tried to block the jet. Maybe he didn't want to blow up the jet because it still technically belonged to the Avengers, and he didn't want to blow up possibly an asset to the rest of the team. But desperate measures. The Tony Accords. It's true that throughout the whole movie, Tony Stark has always been the reckless one. But if throughout the movies, he's also seemingly been the one who would normally receive the development of becoming more responsible, and yet it makes sense. It still makes sense because despite 3 movies and multiple appearances and creating Ultron, he still makes those reckless decisions. It's that paranoia, that fear that keeps driving him to make the same mistake over and over again. He's so afraid of being reckless that he's being reckless. And I can actually believe that would happen. Your paranoia creates the situation you're trying to avoid. But yeah, it does make sense why they turn on him. I would turn on him too. It's like, calling the kettle black there, huh, Tony? And so it makes sense, like, yeah, and also the government, like, we'll retire you. It's just like, it's kind of hard to believe, but they're superheroes, but an entire army, I don't know how well they would last, especially with maybe nuclear bombs. Maybe Thor and Hulk can obviously survive, but they're not here. They're not involved with this stuff. They're off in Asgard having the time of their life, being doing a buddy cop movie. At least that's what I think. That's my imagination. What else do we have here? What is this? Oh yeah, Peter Parker. Oh man, I really did love the Spider-Man of this movie. I really want to see more of him. I can't wait for, I think, 2018 that he's having his solo movie, Homecoming. But that's true. It's just like, yeah, that was kind of funny when my friends and I went to see Civil War, and Tony Stark was, in a way, kind of hitting on Aunt May. And it was so funny because my friends and I were joking, but it became more serious as time went on. We were thinking, wait, would it be possible for Tony Stark to marry Aunt May? Or at least date her? And now Tony Stark becomes Peter Parker's uncle. That's going to be a little weird, but it'd be kind of cool at the same time. Yeah, and yeah, I know Aunt May looks young, but that's one thing that's always bothered me about every iteration of Spider-Man. Aunt May always looking so old when her nephew is so young. Like, this Peter Parker is supposed to be 15, and his Aunt May is supposed to be at least around the same age as her sister. I would give at least some suspend my disbelief by at least 10 years, because I don't know many parents who would wait 10 years before having a second child. You know, and then the child is 10 years apart. Now, it does happen. I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just saying, let's just try to be, let's take the average here. On average, many parents don't wait that long to have a second child. They like to keep them together, that way they can create college funds, or they can prepare for both children and relatively around the same time, and raise them relatively similarly, so they don't have to, deal with a teenager and then with a baby at the same time. That's just insane. That's just way too much pressure. Try to keep them in a very similar age range. But yeah, so I didn't mind that she was young, because Peter Parker here was 15, so I'd believe his aunt was at least in her late 30s, early 40s. That's no big deal. I think it was just because I think people thought she was just too young because she's actually kind of hot. And I know that's weird saying that about Aunt May, but like, hey, she's a beautiful woman. The actress playing Aunt May anyway. It's not her fault that she still looks really good despite her age, because she's actually in her 50s right now, the actress. She's still looking like she's at least in her late 30s. And that's pretty bomb. But I need to see more of Aunt May. I think that what we really need to seal the deal is see her acting. And I don't think Civil War gave enough time for that. We need to see her back in Homecoming and see what kind of aunt she portrays. Is she still the wise one? Is she still loving? Is she still adventurous? Those kind of things. Yeah, Spider-Man's webs, in the comics anyway, they're stated to be strong enough to hold the Hulk. So it would make sense that he, a kid just web them up, and they can't escape. But again, I'm going to suspend disbelief that this is still like a new formula of spider web. It's still not as strong as it could be, so And he was still young and inexperienced, so he probably didn't think about that. He probably just thought about protecting himself, it's like from their attacks and stuff like that, countering. Yeah, the death. Yeah, like, why didn't Bucky just kind of apologize? But at the same time, the situation was very stressful, and you'd probably think Tony Stark wouldn't wait for an apology. He just immediately would have launched that anti-tank missile, and I just blew him up instantaneously. He wouldn't just wait there, hearing about sorry, because he just found out who killed his mom. It was all emotion, and then when you're in an emotional state, you don't really think logically. But it still would have been a sweet sentiment. Like, it would have been kind of mature, just like, yeah, you killed my mom, but you were manipulated. It would have been cool, but not realistic to the situation, because many people really succumb to their emotions over anything, whether it be happiness, sadness, anger, and they don't really think about things, and they just act. And even if they regret their decision later, the fact is they acted on that emotion, and they can never take it back. But that's part of life, yeah, the whole the final warning. I can do this all day. He's just gonna blow them up here. I'm pretty sure he could have done it like relatively quickly. And yeah, that's the thing. It's just like Bucky trying to escape and stop him from saying the line. It's true. He could have just blocked his ears, just like la 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 la, because that actually does work. I've done it many times before myself. But instead, I guess he was just so desperate. He just really wanted to get out and just kind of, I guess, attack the guy. I suppose he thought that was the safest bet. He wasn't thinking to say, just block your ears, just do it. But whatever. Alright, for the cafe scene. I like how they threw that jab at Marvel Comics' stupid decision to say Captain America was a secret Hydra agent the whole time. It's stupid, not really in the sense that they did that storyline. It's stupid that they did that storyline, did not expect any backlash, and when they did get backlash, they reneged on it. They went back. Just like, we're sorry, we were kidding, that was brainwashing. Just like, if you do that, even if it is a dumb storyline to go through with, because it would, in a sense, ruin the character, and also tell us that it's not a gimmick, it's not a brainwashing technique, it's not an alternate dimension Captain America, it's not a clone, it's the real deal, and then tell us later on, hold on, we made a mistake, it was brainwashing. You lose even more respect. All right, when you announced the Hydra agent plot twist, you just went down here, but you could have had a chance to save yourself, or at least balance out yourself. But instead, you just like brainwash. You just suicide. The trust you had from any diehard Marvel fan kind of just you threw away. Because I never really took the comic book series of DC, Marvel, or anything seriously, because in a sense at this point we reached a point where nowadays it's just fan fiction. Professional writers being paid to make money off their fan fiction. They look at the character and they're told you can do whatever you want with this character, and then they just decide, oh yay! I can finally write the stories I've always wanted to do about this character and get paid for it. I always wondered what would it be like if Captain America was secretly a Hydra agent. I always imagine what if Superman was even more powerful than the original iterations. Sometimes I even wonder if they even consider where the characters even started. It has become just a fan fiction fest. It hasn't really, impressed me. It hasn't really let me think that they actually follow their own rules or guidelines that they created years ago for the characters. They just do whatever the fuck they want at this point. And that's true, Vision being Marvel's Superman and Black Panther being Marvel's Batman. Despite, Black Panther not really using, like, too many gadgets. He mostly uses his martial arts and his armor. Let me see. And I think that's it. They didn't really go too much into like smaller scenes. They really went for like the bigger ones. Speaking of big ones, I got the Ant-Man and Giant Man. That was a pretty badass scene. They kind of just left it alone, other than the ending where Vision destroys the jet. That scene was just left alone because it was just that awesome. Like, he was just going around, it's like, I'm Giant Man! Because his response to the actual thing working was like, ho 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 ho! And it was kind of the same reaction I had, just like, ho 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 ho! Look at him, he's Giant Man! It was just so amazing. So much excitement, so much blood pumping. Oh man. But anyway, yeah. So some of these things I agreed with. Some of these things I understood why the writers did them in the original movie, and some things, they're fun. The point was, this was funny. I loved it, and I can't wait for what they do next. Possibly the next big one is gonna be maybe the new Ghostbusters movie, because that has gotten a lot of publicity recently. So they might do that one. Or probably not, because there's the next Star Trek movie coming out soon, and of course Suicide Squad. That's gonna be a big one. That's DC's next movie up in their long line of movies for the DC Cinematic Universe. So, yeah, either way, I'm going to be excited for whatever they come out with, because these guys are really, really funny, and I can't wait for future content from them. So, until then, I'm Tony Dragon, and bye-bye.